Good morning, fellow Nigerians. Yeah, we're going to talk about Nigeria. Nigeria for a second, Nigeria for a minute. If we want to create an environment or a Nigeria that works for everybody, there are certain things that needs to be done in that country to completely, spiritually, physically, overhauling the entire system called Nigeria. From I don't care how many zones, but it needs to be started from the roots. That is the deep bottom of that country. The soul needs to be rechecked and remade. The DNA needs to be original. It needs to be remade completely. Because currently, from what I'm seeing now, the soul of that country, the fiber of that country, the DNA of that country is completely broken. I'm saying this again. I'm always saying this again, but I'm not. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Some sort of spiritual. It's a spiritual problem as well as a physical and constitutional problem. You might say, why is it a spiritual problem? Because we are being led by the spirit of the underworld. Most of the politicians are not godly. They are not Christians. They are not godly. So you cannot expect anything. You cannot expect anything righteous from an ungodly person. It's a fact. Okay. So before the system works for everybody, there are certain things that needs to be done. One, like I said, I always say, constitutional amendment, very important, very sacrosanct. It is inevitable. If we don't do this, we will always, no matter who comes in, even after Buhari's government, no matter who comes in, that person will take us backward again. It will take the country backward about 40 to 60 years backward. I'm not lying. Look at how the system, the country called Nigeria was given. Look at how it was carved. Look at what happened and who did. The British people, of course, the British colonial masters that did this. They gave us the country and handed over the power to the houses, the nothingness. So that's why the Constitution protects them much more than we, or much more than the Constitution protects the South Easterners or the Southerners or the Southwesterners. Maybe except through religion, because the Yorubas a little bit share a lot of things in common, maybe because of religion. But if you see the percentage of Christians and Muslims in Yoruba land, I think it's almost 50-50 or so, maybe 45 or whatever. But I'm not saying it's not that too much compared to not the real core northern states. You know, like Sokoto, Zamfara State, you have many Muslims than Christians. It's a fact. I think that about 1% or 2% or 5%, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure there's very small, minute numbers of Christians operating in there, because the environment is very unfriendly. These guys are religious bigots and fanatics all through. So what is the problem with the country? One, the country needs to be restructured. Number one, the constitution needs to be redrafted, rewritten, or amended. That is the fact. It's a fact, and the Northerners know this. They know that with the constitution, that everything, the resources of the land will be spread evenly, fairly, justly to everybody in the society, in the country. We cannot be under this umbrella of one Nigeria, pretending that we are a country when the fundamental things are not done. What are the fundamental things? The basic things that needs to be done is like, what is the constitutional amendment? And what again? Restructuring. If we saw that this democracy is not working, this is the particular system of government is not working for us, the presidential system is not working for us, we can change the parliamentary system of government, or we can also change the regional system of government, where all the zones in the country will take care of the resources and pay taxes and whatever to the central government. I think that would be fair. So that whatever you have as resources, or whatever you can import, or whatever you can create, you can as well use that to pay your salary and cater for your estate. You cannot be depending on the Southerners' oil for your own benefit when you're not respecting those people, or when you're not spreading the wealth of that nation back to the people that originally owns the oil. So this is a fact. If this is not done, forget about Nigeria. We can all pretend, as we can say, we can all pretend that we will have one Nigeria, one Nigeria. I used to believe in that, and like, this is now that my eyes have truly opened, because I have seen the injustices. I have seen unfair treatment that the Northerners have done to the South, the Igbos, the Southerners, and the other tribes. They think that the power belongs to them. That every year they come out with every year they come out with enough. Why are they not giving the Igbos the chance to rule? Because they know when once an Igbo person comes in there, they will do constitutional amendment, and they are enjoying from this not amending or rewriting the constitution or restructuring the system again. The Northerners are the beneficiaries of these loopholes. And they know it. When once this is done, the constitution is rewritten again, or amended, or re-amended again, or restructured again. Trust me, these things will not happen again. Like rigging of election, corruption will minimize. We'll be able to correct, because the system will be very solid. The judicial system will be so solid, will be independent, free of any interference from the executive or the legislative arms of government. This is what is done, observable in other nations. All right, we have to have independent entity, independent body. The ICPC, EFCC, it should be independent, outside the presidency. This is what it should be. So when restructuring is done and the constitutional amendment is completely done, things will come back to normalcy. We can all share in the one Nigeria. But for now, I don't see Nigeria moving forward. Trust me. This should have been done. This constitutional amendment should have been done in the first term or second term of Obasanjo, or first term of Jonathan. It doesn't. What does it take to do constitutional amendment? What does it take to restructure the land? Nothing. It's just people sit down there and look at the constitution again, and look at how well we can spread our resources evenly, how we can solidify our system, broken system, put in infrastructure, build some airport, build some roads, build hospital, and then equip those hospital, make life easier for us, the village people living in the village. Right, because they cannot come to Abuja. Those people that lives in the village cannot come to Abuja for any reason, because they don't have the capacity and the facilities to do so. So once the money is given to them directly to the local government, this will also be that money will also be used to give the grandpas and the grandmas money and life to live. It's all falls under restructuring. Because I cannot see a country like the president in this way. The federal government will give local government their own allocation, and then the state governor will stand in their way and take the money, part of the money. They may probably giving them, say, 200 billion, or 20 billion for the local government. Then the governor will take about 2 billion and then gives them 1 billion. That's quite unfair. That's quite undemocratic. That is very quite unfair. Right, so if that is done, if the constitution is amended and is also restructuring is done, and the system of overhaul, things will, trust me, things will get back to normalcy. Trust me, Nigeria will be back in its feet, and we will be proud to call Nigeria one Nigeria. So if this is not done, forget it. Forget whatever you call Nigeria. I don't really care. Trust me. It's better we go our separate ways, right? We go our separate ways, period. We cannot live in this kind of marriage. This marriage is not working. This marriage is not working. The Northerners are not marrying us, the Southerners. They're not marrying the Southwesterners. They're not marrying the Southerners. They're not marrying the Southeasterners. It's also all about them, the Northerners, all the Northerners. And they don't even realize that that's the problem of the land. Sort the problem out. The banditry, Boko Haram, terrorism, all these are products of bad leadership. Once the system is done, everyone will be okay, will be satisfied, the resources will be spread. Nobody will be carrying guns to anybody. Nobody will pay nobody to go kill someone. Because this is also like a product, like I said, it's the product of bad leadership and insecurity. Once security is handled, believe me, things will change in that country. So whatever we build, we know we protect it because there's security in the land. In every part of the body, police are well paid, the armies are well paid, and they tell the army people that it's not their constitutional obligation to be beating civilians, even the police. We make the police, and because there are law officers, they are all meant to maintain peace and order in the land, and they arrest people that are not victims, culprits. You don't just go about and start beating people because there's a suspect in the land or someone has run away from the police, and you start arresting people. Like, that's just not how it is done. It is not done that way. There's some sort of, there has to be an investigation. There has to be a lot of scrutiny and perusal to who did this, who were involved in the crime. So you cannot just go and arrest a grandma and grandpa in the village, suspecting that it's using such strategy to arrest the main culprit. It doesn't work that way. So this falls into that restructuring. Everything overhaul, the judiciary overhaul, solid system, solid independent ICPC, solid judiciary system, solid legislative system, solid presidential system. When this is done, everything will be fine in that country. We move the country forward. We will not be talking about Igbo and power of rotation and marginalization. No one will be talking about that because everything is spread evenly. I rest my case. Thank you very much.